Devin, hi, Jim Delapine here. I want to give you some tips on this. First of all, the background is perfect for this, and I do see that you have no adjustment layers and no saved selection as it's channeled and renamed. So I'm going to give you instructions on how to do that in my comments to you. All right. I also, first of all, I want to give you some help with this text because this just does not work. Okay. You want to make it part of the design. So I'm going to hide that and show what I did here. So I have this text here that on two separate layers. Okay, so first with Rocket Rhapsody, what I'm going to do is highlight this, and we'll just make it white for now, just so you can see it better. All right, and what I'm going to do is I made this. You could make this any text you want. Actually, the bolder the better. So if I make this Arial, A-R-I-A-L, Arial black, that's really thick. You can make it any text you want, but in this case you want it to stand out. You want it bold because of the technique I'm about to do. So now what I'm going to do is double click on the word rockin' and hit Control T to bring up the text and work with the tracking, which will spread out this word rockin' and put more space in between each character. So if I click and drag here, notice how it scrubs it open. They call it scrubbing. So I can better control how far I want this to go. So there we go. So that looks pretty good like that. Okay. So I'm going to place this just right about here. All right. So I can make some of it fall behind the curtains here, give it some dimension. So now what I'm going to do is control click on the T in that layer. That puts a selection around all that text. Okay. I'm going to hide the text layer, then select the background. Once the background is selected, I'm going to hit Control J. That's going to copy what's inside that selection on that background to the layer above. Okay? So you can't tell because it's seamless now, but it's right here. So now I'll apply a layer style to that. So I'll double click on the layer right here, and this comes up. And I'm going to select, let's see, let me drag this to the side here. So if I select Bevel and Emboss, you can see an immediate result there. All right? I'm going to, I mean, it's a way of still seeing the background. It's just a way of looking at something a little different here, okay? So we can do an assortment of things here. So this is a good opportunity for you to experiment. So if I put, let's see, a color overlay here, and then I'll click on this box here to change the color. I can choose any color I want. So once the color picker is up, I bring my cursor outside that window. I could sample a color here. So I'll sample this orange for the floor. All right, hit OK, and I can decrease the opacity so it's see-through. Or I could also change the blending mode. You could have fun with that. So to darken, and then hit the down arrow key to multiply. So there, the down arrow key scrubs through everything, and you really are not going to get some dramatic results here. But you know, I don't know. Let's see, I'll stick with overlay and then decrease the opacity a little bit. All right, and then hit OK. Now what I want to do is, with this layer active, I want to have it look like it's falling behind this curtain here. All right, so what you need to do first is to right click on this and rasterize the layer style. All right, otherwise it won't take effect. And then I'll create a layer mask for that. And then I'll zoom in and go to my paintbrush, make sure it's at 100% hardness and black is the foreground color. And then I can just kind of click and just mask out that portion there to make it look like it's going underneath the curtain. It's pretty cool. All right, give it some dimension. All right, so now for Roy, what we'll do for Roy is this. I'm going to hit Control T. We're going to kind of have him go into the floor, the text go into the floor. So I want to make it big. All right, hit enter, and then I'll go to edit, transform. Perspective is not an option. That's because it's a text layer. So what we're going to do is right click. Actually, we want this to be bolder, so let me just go to that and go to Arial again, A-R-I, and we want Arial black. That's a thicker, heavier font. All right, I'll give it a little space beneath the curtain and above the floor, center it, and then I will right click on that text and go to rasterize the type, and then hit control, and then wait a second, edit, transform, perspective. Okay, now that's an option. And then if I click and drag the lower left or right bounding box, I'll be able to pull this out. So what I'm doing is I'm lining this up with the lines in the wood, right, with the wood here. So, you know, it kind of gets a little out of skew over here, but that's okay. This part really matters. So now I'll hit enter. All right, and I may want to just move this down just a tad. All right, so now I'm going to control click on that layer and hide that black, and then go to the background. I just wanted that selection really. All right, go to the background, make sure that's selected, and then hit Control J. So Control J is copying what's in this selection from the selected layer and bringing it to the layer above. And then I will create a layer mask for that. So double click on that, layer mask for bevel and emboss, and I could just leave it at that. That's fine. You know, that's not bad. But you know, feel free to experiment. Okay. And I think that's good. So you got to do the adjustment layers, save the selection as a renamed channel, and also zoom in here. And what you need to do is a better job with masking out this music stand here. So that means making sure you're in 100% hardness, all right? And brush size is appropriate. Left bracket key reduces it. Select the layer mask for the stand layer, and then click, and then click, and mask out these little the areas that were part of the background. So you got to do more of a careful job here. See? So with a small paintbrush size, if I click here, then go down here vertically, and then shift click, I'm hiding that corner. I'm hiding all that debris, and I'm getting a nice straight line. So you really got to go in there, and you don't have to cramp up your hand, okay? But it's like when you work with the mouse, it's like holding a rock, you know. Just click and shift click to get a straight line. Click and shift click, okay? You know, some areas you will have to go in there and manually do that, but for the most part, you know, it has to be done. All right, so you may have to just go in here and just manually click and drag. But if it's a straight line, it's clicking and shift clicking, okay? All right, so we got to fix all this stuff, okay? All right, man, hope that helped. Take care.